Today's the day we are going to talk about the exercise that I mentioned back on day 2 that I learned it with the caution of don't do this too late because it can really rev your metabolism and make it hard for you to sleep at night. So let's find out what it is. I'm Katerina. This is day 7 of my 28-day healthy waist slimming challenge. At the end of this video, I'm going to go through a quick recap of what we've seen in days 1 through 6 and just hit the highlights in case you just happen to be coming upon me with this one. But as the title of the video indicates, we're talking about hypopressives. So hypopressives are a move that is talked about in like the pelvic floor health arena and maybe other places, but that's where I came across it. So this week I have been doing it every day. I did miss one day, but I've been doing it every other day for somewhere. So for the last 7 days, I've done 6 days, between 7 to 10 minutes of hypopressives in the morning. And I want to share about this with you and explain it so that you can try it if you choose to. And there are a few cautions with this one. Because it does involve a breath hold, well, like repeated breath holds, there are some health conditions that make it so that you shouldn't do this. So that is things like high blood pressure, heart problems, or heart disease, COPD. I was looking this up before I got on fibromyalgia. So definitely, if you a pregnancy, also not something to do in pregnancy. If you have any health condition, I would definitely check with your doctor before doing this one. But if you know you're all good, this is something that has benefits in, like I said, I came across it in pelvic floor health, but also it activates the transverse abdominis, which can support the spine and acts like a natural corset, which when you're wanting to slim your waist, that's kind of what we're looking for, right? We want that area to be strengthened and tighter and slimmer. So let's talk about how you do this. There's a couple different poses you could do it in. I normally do it in my 7 to 10 minutes that I'm doing every morning, laying down. But when I was first exposed to it, she demonstrated it in a seated position like this. So I'm sitting like on my knees. I'm gonna spread my legs a little bit. Spread my knees. Or sorry, I'm not sitting on my knees. Wow. Sitting on my lower legs, right? I'm gonna open my knees a little bit so there's like a V in there. I know it doesn't show in the video, but the important thing is what's happening here at the abdomen. And this ties back to the rib breathing from day 2. So if you have never, if you didn't see that video and you haven't gotten to practice what rib breathing is like, this really ties into this exercise. So if you try the rib breaths, like if this is your first exposure, you tried the rib breathing and you're like, I can't even get that, work on coordinating that first and then bring in the breath hold. So I'm going to put the mic here. And so the rib breathing is where on the exhale, you are very intentional about bring all of the air out from the bottom of the lungs and allowing your ribs to come together. And on the inhale, the ribs spread apart. So we'll do 3 rib breaths. On the third one, you keep like with the air out. So you exhale, that third exhale, you, with your breath gone, like with your breath out, you do a glottal stop. So that's where like the way you would hold your breath without holding your nose, because you're going to go underwater, where you like kind of like close your throat and you don't let air into your nose, but without holding that, that's like the type of breath hold. So you're not going to see me holding my nose, but I'm stopping my breath. And then you're going to still act like you want to bring breath in, even though you're not letting breath come in. And with that bring breath in, the ribs come apart. So when the ribs spread apart without the breath in, it creates kind of like this vacuum in the torso, like in the abdominal cavity. And it's not with the force of your muscles, it's the force of the vacuum that's causing the effect. And I want to make this distinction because there's another move which are I think people call them like stomach vacuums, but where you're like you breathe out and then you suck in your stomach, and like it has other things that are not the purpose of going into here, but there's tension there in those abdominal muscles with that one. We're not doing a stomach vacuum, we're doing a hyperpressive. So hopefully that gives enough background. Totally understand if you want to like keep researching this with other people's videos. I'm not going to expose my abs. There are other people that do, that can give you like a better picture of this. Totally cool too. And in fact, I encourage you to look at this, and they'll show like, you know, them doing it in different poses and things like that. So definitely, if this is just like brand new for you, definitely encourage you to check with your medical provider, do your research, and expose yourself to some different positions to do it in and see what feels most comfortable for you. So, with all that being said, we're going to do one or two rounds together now. Again, this is something to do for you. Like, I did 7 minutes one day just because I was running late in my morning, but my goal is 10 minutes every morning. So there are people that do 10 to 15 minutes. There are people that do it a couple times a day. Again, you don't want to do it too late. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do it. So I'm going to do 3 breaths. I'm not going to talk because this does need you to like regulate your breathing, and then do a breath hold. So I'm going to do 3 breaths on the third one. I'm going to like go like this is the third one. I'm going to keep the air out, but act like I want to bring a breath in. And I'm going to show you guys like, okay, like I'm gonna do this to show my abs are still soft. Like I'm not tensing my abs, it's the ribs that are doing it. Okay, so let's go. We're gonna go out first, and then on the third out, we'll do it. Okay, if you're doing that along with me, feel free to comment how that felt. We're gonna go right back into the second one. So we're coming out, like out as I've been expressing, back in. Here we go. I'm gonna do it on this out breath. Okay. So a couple more things before we move on to the recap for this past first week in the 28-day challenge. Your breath holds, like the longer, hold to where you need air again, right? So when I first started doing this, I could hold for like 10 seconds. I didn't hold my breath very long for the purposes of this video, but when I'm doing it like in my 10-minute time for doing this in the morning, I'm counting to see how long I hold it. So the first couple of days, like the first couple of times I do it, I'm usually holding somewhere around 10 seconds, and then I gradually like extend that as my body like gets into the rhythm of doing the hypopressives. This morning, I intentionally wanted to see like, okay, how long can I go? And this morning I got to 40, like a count of 40. I'm not saying it was like exactly 40 seconds because I'm not doing like stopwatch. I'm just counting in my head. But when you're doing a breath hold, number one, again, there are conditions that make it so that you shouldn't do a breath hold. But if you don't have any of those things holding you back from doing a breath hold, keep in mind that this is kind of one of those like um, almost positive stressors on your body, but it is a stressor. So if you start to like feel uncomfortable, feel dizzy, wrap up your session at that point. You don't need to, this is not one of those like, oh, push through. No, we're, this is healthy and gentle. And just really, I am sharing with y'all, like y'all see my waist is not like super slim, but again, like I mentioned on day one, and we'll kind of segue into the recap here. Like I mentioned on day one, these are things, this is a goal that I've had for so long to like have a slimmer waist. And there are things I've come across along the way that are like, man, these things could help if I was consistent with them. So that's why I said, you know what, I'm going to do a 28-day challenge and go ahead and share it. And anyone who wants to do it along with me or see how it goes for me, welcome to be in there. So on day one, I kind of introduced like the ideas behind it. Talked about some of the topics we're gonna mention. If you did watch day one, I was like, ooh, there was another M. The last M was massage, which we haven't gotten to yet. So what we've talked about on day one was two things were on day one: measuring and so measuring your waist. And I recommend doing it in two places, especially with my body type. Like the smallest part of my waist is kind of higher up, and then I wanted the waist at the belly button. Um, and the other big thing and really important thing that I talked about that day was mindset. So mindset in the sense of like how you can use visualization to help you along with this, and also not coming at this from a place of, oh, I hate my body, I need to change this. And this is also, I didn't mention this, but this is a 28-day challenge. I'm not saying like, oh, you're going to lose 10 inches in 28 days, because that's just not realistic. This is kind of gets to get the ball rolling. And also, I encourage everyone to come at this from a place of love. Like, I love myself. I want to be the healthiest version of myself. There are studies that indicate that carrying extra weight around your waist can have negative health outcomes. And I think it's is it under 34, 35 for a woman and under 40 for a man? That's like the maximum waist circumference to be at before you start having like a higher likelihood of negative health outcomes. So yeah, just like a mindset introduction. We'll probably touch again on mindset on another day. Day two was breathing, and there's more to be said about breathing, but we talked about rib breathing, and I went into like how to do that, like positioning your spine and things like that, as well as ocean breaths, which can help with stress and stimulate the thyroid. Day three, how you eat. So I encourage everyone to chew well, and I'm sure what I'm working on doing myself is chewing slowly and eating slowly, and stopping when satisfied, not when full. Day four, stress management. Talked about some stress management ideas and why it's important to take the time to do positive stress coping techniques, because we're all dealing with stress of different types. And if you're anything like me, food can be something you turn to deal with stress, which of course is not a positive way to deal with stress. Day five was the abdominal twist. Someone commented like, oh, this was great for my back. And I agree, it totally does help my back too. But it also helps with what we mentioned today, the transverse abdominis, and bring some like suppleness and movement to areas of our body that don't often get asked to move in the modern sedentary culture that we live in. Day six, which was yesterday, was about sleep and two specific strategies for sleep that weren't just like, well, you should get to bed earlier. Although, of course, if you're only getting 5 hours a night, definitely encourage you to get to bed earlier, sleep longer, or whatever. But it was using mouth tape. And, if that's something that you've seen around and you're interested in, I shared yesterday the type of mouth tape that I use that doesn't actually like seal your lip shut, because I know it's a concern for some people, like, oh, what if you need to speak? There is mouth tape out there that allows for that. And some techniques to get to sleep faster. So I talked about like number one, slowing down your breathing because breath does affect so much, and then adding with that another actually like another activity like certain eye movements or cognitive shuffling. And then we have today where we finally got to the hypopressives, which I hinted at on day 2. So I hope that this little recap has been useful. And if you did stay to the end, thanks so much. We have another 21 days in this 28-day health challenge. So I hope you'll get lots of benefits from it. And thanks for watching. Bye.